everybody. My name is Lisa Smith, and you are on Enlightening Conversations with the YWCA in Hanover. I think we were cut off in the beginning, so let me introduce myself again. My name is Lisa Smith, and you're with Enlightening Conversations with the YWCA in Hanover. This evening, we've got a very interesting topic, at least I find it extremely interesting, and that is poverty in Hanover. We have with us three speakers, Myrna Wilkerson from Hanover Area Council of Churches, Sue Fornicolo from New Hope Ministries, and Louisa Olivo-Wolf from Community Progress Council. And they're going to talk to us this evening about what they see in the Hanover community insofar as people who are dealing with the issues of poverty. But I will bring you a couple of statistics and information before we start. And I'm wondering how many of our listeners and viewers are in the same position that I was in when we first started exploring this topic. And that is, how common is poverty here in the Hanover area? Do you see our community as one that is impoverished? Or do you happen to see poverty as a problem that's primarily an issue for big cities or very rundown rural areas? I was surprised at the statistics that I found about poverty in Hanover, because I never realized that the issue was as severe as what I learned. In truth, other than the city of York and its connecting boroughs, West York and North York, Hanover actually ranks fourth in the rate of poverty amongst its citizens. There are only three communities in York County, other than those, the city of York and those two connecting boroughs. There are only three communities that have a higher rate of poverty than Hanover, and that's Windsor, Dallastown, and Wrightsville. I was very surprised to learn that. And when you consider the size of those communities, Hanover, I believe, takes in quite a few more people than those communities do. But maybe we need to define what we're talking about before we go any further.
Lisa,
government.
I'm sorry, Lisa, I think we're having some problems with your microphone.
Okay.
Yes, like that we can hear very clearly.
Okay.
Yep, thank you.
Okay. The federal government actually sets the guideline for what constitutes poverty in America, and it's based on household incomes and the number of people in each household. For 21 to 22, those years, the federal income poverty guide indicates a household income of $26,500 for a family of four as the dividing line. Surprisingly, 16.1% of Hanover residents live in poverty based on those guidelines. That's 1 out of every 6 Hanoverians. If you look at that statistic across the entire state, that rate is 13.1. And that's a meaningful difference from our town's 16.1. Now, the other issue that I was curious about is who is in that group? Who are the impoverished folks in our community? Well, women are 36% more likely to be in that group. And a vast majority of those women happen to be single heads of households who are raising children in poverty. Poverty rate amongst the younger age groups in Hanover is seen as the most undesirable factor for the future of our community. It's not traffic, it's not jobs, it's the poverty of the younger American or the younger age groups here in Hanover. Currently in Hanover, and this is where I was really surprised, 37.1% of the students in grades 1 through 4 live in a household where the income is below that federal guideline. That rate falls to 20% when you look at students in grades 5 to 8, and then it goes back up to 26.5 for students in high school. Now, we're not talking about abstract percentages when we look at poverty in our community. We're talking about people, real, breathing, living, struggling human beings to the tune of 2,500 individuals living in the worst financial situation as defined by the federal guidelines. We aren't even considering the untold numbers of households who miss that cutoff by just a few dollars every year. Their struggle is just as difficult. Luckily, we have people here tonight who are going to speak to how that struggle can be handled and what they provide to assist the people here in our community. And we're going to start first with Louisa from Community Progress Council. Community Progress Council covers the entire county, but they provide quite a bit here in Hanover. So Louisa, welcome, and tell us a little bit about your agency and what you can provide for Hanover.
Thank you, Lisa. Yes, my name is Luisa Olivo-Wolf. I am the Director of Strategic Initiatives at Community Progress Council. Our agency works with low to moderate income families in the entire community, and we do have offices and resources directly in Hanover. It's interesting that you mentioned the facts of poverty in Hanover. Our organization is a community action program aimed at really delving into the reason that people are in poverty and working to eradicate poverty. That's the mission of community action. That's the mission of CPC. In fact, our vision is that your county is a place where people live free of poverty. And of course, Hanover is a huge part of that. We've been serving clients in Hanover for years, including in our early childhood education program. So when you mention the fact of mothers, single mothers, head of households, we've been seeing, those families for many years. Our program is unique because our approach is very comprehensive, and really we strive to meet our mission of getting folks out of poverty by eliminating stopgaps and really helping them have the resources to get them above that federal poverty line that you mentioned in your conversation earlier. So that federal poverty guideline is very low, right? That amount of money is very low for a family of four. And then if you keep going up, it goes up to 300% of poverty. And what you're considering a person and a family to be self-sufficient at is once they reach that 300% threshold or higher. So what our program really aims to do is support folks in getting to that place where they no longer have to rely on programs like WIC and early childhood education, but we're here to serve them while they're working towards those goals. So the way that Community Progress Council serves our client is very unique. So all of our folks come in through a centralized intake process. Our resource navigator will have a conversation with the client and really determine what their comprehensive needs are, right? Someone might call and they see the kiddos in Hanover walking down Pleasant Street to go into a classroom and be really interested in our early childhood education services, but they don't know necessarily that we offer WIC and housing support. So what we would do with our resource navigators is conduct an intake, really understand a better scope of what's going on with the family, determine what their needs are, what their income looks like. If they do have a child 5 and under, connecting them to our early childhood education resources and our WIC resources. But really the goal is, what else can we do, right? What else can we connect you with, and how can we support you along your journey to try to get out of poverty and reach self-sufficiency? So we connect that resource navigator at first. They kind of address those crisis needs, connect the client to the program that they choose to connect with. But then once they're connected to those programs, they get supported by a coach. So depending on which program they go to, if they have a child under 5, they would be connected to a family coach. If they don't have children, or they have children that are older than 5, they would be connected to a progress coach. And that person is really there side by side supporting that individual and that family's goal, be it getting a higher paying job, getting a GED, learning English, whatever that person's goal is, that progress coach and family coach is really going to walk alongside them, provide them the resources necessary to do the work, and to really have someone supporting them and around their corner. In fact, one of our most successful stories, you can look at our website at yorkcpc.org, is a young mother from Hanover. And she is one of our first self-sufficiency graduates. She's really been working and really identifying what are the barriers to her life, what are the things that she can change, and how can she make a different future story happen for her children. So I highly encourage you to check that out. Her name is Anna Yancy. She's amazing. But that's really our approach, is to wrap around individuals and families with the variety of the services that we provide. So early childhood education is just one of the things. I know we're known for that in Hanover, for our Head Start classroom and our early Head Start home visiting in Hanover. We also offer the WIC program, housing, workforce development. So folks that are interested in getting a higher paying job or some job training skills, connected to a coach, and then to our workforce programs. Foster grandparents, which is an opportunity for seniors to get a little bit of a stipend and also support children in their learning. We also have our self-sufficiency program, which is where those progress coaches are housed. And then what happens after a client has been with us, and we know that poverty is not just going to change overnight. So we've made a commitment to clients to serve them for how long it takes. Typically around 5 years is what we see a client move into that self-sufficiency stage. But once the client has worked with a progress coach or a family coach for a period of time, and they're kind of ready to take that next leap and to move into that self-sufficiency phase, then we would transition them to a self-sufficiency coach. So really working with folks to get them out of poverty, to make a different life for their children, right? It's such an important thing for us as an agency to support people along the way. The other thing that we know is that when individuals accept that raise or get a higher paying job or receive a diploma, and therefore have more opportunities available to them in employment, some of their benefits go away. So maybe they had a childcare subsidy, and now because they took a raise, they're unable to have that subsidy. Our programs will support the family, and maybe they need some additional financial assistance in order to make that happen. CPC is there to help support them. If they're working with a coach and they're really engaged in the process, we really want to be innovative in the way that we're serving our clients. The other thing I want to mention that I think is so important, specifically in Hanover, is the intersectionality of issues, right? So you have poverty, but you also have a large community in Hanover that is undocumented or has limited English. And so that creates additional challenges. And Community Progress Council is really committed to serving our clients in the language that they speak. So we do have a huge assortment of folks that speak Spanish available to our clients. And we know that there's a lot of Spanish speaking individuals and families in Hanover. And we want to provide them that service in their language with someone who really understands their cultural background. And we also have the ability to use an interpreting service if we're not able to connect them to a coach that speaks their language. But we're really committed to making sure that folks have equitable services at Community Progress Council. So that's an important piece I wanted to make sure that I touched upon. I'm sorry, Lisa, I can't hear you.
Oh, okay. Let me see what I can do about that.
I can hear you now.
Okay, all right. The coaches that you mentioned, are they staff or are they trained volunteers?
I believe what you said is the coaches, are they staff or are they volunteers? Did I get that
Correct.
correctly? Our
Yes.
coaches are CPC employees, yes.
They're employees. Okay.
Mhm.
Rosemary has come back on the screen. Do you have questions for us?
Actually, I have a recommendation, Lisa. I think when you pull away from your computer, we lose your the
volume.
auditory. Yeah,
Okay.
we have a very hard time hearing when you pull away a little
I'll
bit.
have to have that checked out because we've not run into that before. So, okay.
Thank
Any
you.
questions? Any other questions coming in?
So far, we've just got a few watchers, but no questions or comments yet. So
Okay, that sounds fine.
thank you.
One thing that I wanted to mention, and this is an important time to do it, I think, is at the end of our discussion with our three speakers, we do have a brief slideshow that will give you contact information and a very brief outline of some of the services they offer. It's by far not comprehensive, but at least you have contact information. So if anybody's taking notes and says, oh, who was that said they had this? You'll catch it at the end. And that will be posted with the video of this conversation as well. Louisa, anything else that you want to add?
Yeah, if I could just mention, since you said that, if there are folks that are watching this and are interested in our services, again, that centralized intake is so crucial to what we do at Community Progress Council. It eliminates barriers for folks, and that's why we shifted that model a few years ago. You would just dial, I'm going to give you the number, 717-846-4600. You can also email info@yorkcpc.org, and you will get connected to a resource navigator. And that person is the one that's going to help you navigate through the programs and resources that we have available. If I may say it in Spanish, just in case you have folks here, Community Progress Council está disponible para todas las personas en Hanover y en la comunidad de York, en el condado de York. Si ustedes están interesados en los servicios que podemos ofrecer, pueden llamar al 717-846-4600. Muchas gracias. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Thank you. And as Louise mentioned, they are a York County program. So they serve all of the residents of York County. We're very privileged to have them on site in Hanover frequently. So that's a big help. The next organization that I wanted to bring to everybody's attention is New Hope Ministries. They also serve a much wider area than our little borough, but the programs and services that they offer, I believe, are fairly different from site to site. We'll let Sue clear that up for us if I'm wrong. And we have Sue Fornicola from the New Hope Ministries. And Sue, if you can give us a background on what New Hope is all about and some of the programs that you are most proud of here in Hanover. You're muted, Sue. You're muted.
There you go.
There you are.
Thank you so much. I will repeat that. I said, thank you so much for the privilege that I get to share a little bit about New Hope Ministries. We're a community-based Christian social service agency providing support and organized assistance serving our neighbors in need, supporting their efforts towards stability. And I'm sure all of us would shake our heads and agree during these last, especially couple of years, as we've been working with our folks that come through our doors, we have seen a bigger need for providing assistance. Most people know New Hope as a food pantry. We started 40 years ago, actually just in January, and we have that privilege of meeting needs with food and basic needs such as shelter, transportation, utility assistance. Those are all awesome, and we've been able to do that and been able to help meet those needs as our guests come through our doors in our Hanover community. But we realized that that wasn't enough. Even though those were meeting some basic needs, our families that came through were still struggling meeting the needs of their families. And it was very difficult to watch some of those struggles. So we started building programs where we knew that it would make a difference in the lives of the folks that we served. And many of them we do Job Junction, where we build resumes, do mock interviews. We actually have connected people if they needed a haircut or need clothing. We've got different referrals that we can connect people to. We've even provided transportation assist if that's what's needed to get to a job. You obviously, if you're unemployed, you don't have the money to put gas in your car to be able to get to that job. So that's one of the things that we want to help with as well. Maybe we have to pay insurance for someone so they can get a couple of months under their belt when it comes to transportation or car repairs. Those are things that we do as well. And when our guests come through our doors or make a call, they will meet a caseworker or stability coach, and they're going to talk with them and we'll figure out what they need. Food may be one of the basic needs, and we'll deem it necessary if they need food weekly or monthly. And they can come in daily to get marketplace, which is fresh bread and produce and things like that on a regular basis. But we want to know, what can we do to help them to become stable, get from that crisis situation they might be in to stability. So along with what I just talked about, Job Junction, we teach a budgeting class. It's a basic budgeting class, but it allows our guests, if they get those paychecks, what did they do with that money? How did they use it wisely? How could they support their families on it? So we work with them and follow them with the budgeting class. And then we teach soft skills. We want them to be that best employee ever. When they go into whatever job it is, whatever training program it is, we want them to go in and know that they've got at least we prepared them to the best of our ability with everything that they need to be a success in that job or in that training program. And as we do that, we also found that some folks needed GED classes. That would help them, we kind of say, move up the rung, just one more step up the rung. And we allow them to, the privilege of, it's our privilege to be able to work with them to get that GED. And we offer those classes in our Hanover location as well. And then we've been offering job fairs as employers would come in. It's awesome that we can allow the employees to come in with no cost to them. We only ask that they have jobs, and then folks can come in, and many times they've been interviewed on the site and they've been able to gain employment that way. But if there's still not anything through that job fair or what we're doing, and they want to do some training, for example, and we offer training programs like forklift training. We have another one coming up in February. CNA, Certified Nursing Assistant Program, we offer that. CDA, which is Child Development. Rise Up, that's customer service. CDL and Class A. I love the stories of there was a young single dad that came to us, and he wanted to provide for his family, and he always wanted to be a CDL driver. And he had no clue that we did that. As we started talking with him and mapping out what he needed to do, he went through the soft skills and the budgeting class, and he ended up getting his CDL Class A, now drives back and forth across country, and is so excited and so thankful that he ever walked through the door and be able to become that CDL driver that he always desired. Phlebotomy tech, that's another program we offer. Medical assisting, pharmacy tech, and EMT. Now, all of these programs are things that New Hope, there's no cost to the guest that comes through our door. We will help them, but there are some steps, like I mentioned, that our guest would walk through, but we want to work with them to become stable and to know that they can meet the needs of their family. We also offer programs for children. We have a seedlings program, and those are for our little ones, basically working with the moms, and we bring in somebody that maybe talks about WIC and all the awesome programs that Louisa just mentioned. We bring somebody in about CHIP, and just to be able to tell our new moms. And then PEDALS, which is our preschool and toddlers academic learning support. That's where we work with a guardian, a parent. They're going to come in and they're going to work with their child, and we're going to help them prepare that child for kindergarten enrollment. And when they go through the testing, hopefully we've prepared them to go through. Then we have after school programs, and we have introduced a teen workforce program where what we just talked about with the adults, we want to also work with our teens, and we want to be able to help them gain those skills that they need. And obviously we'd love to help break the cycle of poverty so that our teens feel really good about it. We have dual enrollment. So if a student's in high school and they'd like to get credit for some of the high school classes they're taking and towards college, we can actually do that as well. And then in the spring, we have a scholarship program where if people want to go to college or community college or cosmetology school or whatever they'd like, there's an application that they can apply for and fill it out, send it in to New Hope. And we have that privilege to be able to help them maybe go to college or take a trade or a skill that they've always wanted to do and never been able to do that. So New Hope has probably come a long ways from where people probably thought who we are and what we did. But we count it a privilege every single day to be in our Hanover community, to help meet the needs of the folks that come through our doors. And we count it a privilege that we can help our neighbors in need gain stability in their time of crisis. We do also have 2 Spanish-speaking staff that are on staff there in the Hanover site. And if anybody does need assistance or help in any way, if they could call us at 717-698-3365. And you could also get on our website, www.nhm-pa.org. And if there's any questions or any way that we can help our neighbors in need in our Hanover community, please don't hesitate to reach out, because we're there to serve you.
Lisa, I'm afraid we can't hear you again.
Oh, gosh. I am not sure why that's happening.
Okay, can hear you
Comes
now.
and
You
goes.
can hear me now. Okay.
Yes.
I noticed that you refer to the folks you work with as guests as opposed to clients or, you know, folks in need. And I saw this on your website as well. Can you explain that at all?
I don't know about you, but when a guest comes to my house or when I know I'm going to have company, I probably do just a little bit more to make sure that they're comfortable and that they feel that they're loved on a bit when they walk through. And a few years ago, we started calling the folks that come through our doors guests instead of clients. And we did refer to them, and that there's nothing wrong with that. But somebody had actually mentioned it to us, and we said, oh, we'd love that. We'd love to adopt that. And so from that point on, it just stuck. And I can't tell you, I've been with New Hope many years, and I don't remember the exact year that it changed, but it was just a privilege that we felt like as they came through the door to call them guests and hopefully help meet the needs, because many lives have gone through so much. And we all know during this pandemic, it's been very hard on families. And we just wanted to be there just a little bit more to love on them as they came through. And someone mentioned the name guest to us, and it has stuck for several years.
I would like to take the opportunity real quick to maybe make a recommendation. For those that are watching Facebook Live right now, there is an option to turn the closed caption on. It is live, so you can click that and everybody will have live closed captions as close to what they are saying as possible. We do have one question so far on the website. They're requesting to know if volunteers are needed at these organizations and what somebody who would be interested in volunteering would need to do.
For us, yes, we always need volunteers. We're small staff and large volunteer base. And they could do everything from stocking shelves. It depends on what their background is and what they feel comfortable in doing. We have folks answering phones at our centers. We have phones that have been HR. So they're helping build resumes and helping people do mock interviews and helping with that. We have people driving truck because that's what they did, and they love to do that. We have people that have been nurses, and they help tutor and encourage our nurse aid students when they're going through the nurse aid class. We've had folks come in and help tutor in our GED program because they love math, or they may love reading, or whatever the different subjects are, and they come in and tutor. So we have a variety. Somebody thought it was only food. I'm like, no, there's a whole lot of things that we do. So if you get onto our website, www.nhm-pa.org, you can see a button there where you can actually volunteer. You can pick the shift you want. You can pick the hours you want, the days you want. We're actually even open 2 evenings a week a month, the second and fourth Tuesday of the month for folks that are working and maybe need food. Maybe you can work in the evening because you're working a different job during the day. So yes, we always need volunteers. That's how we can function.
Our organization currently, because of COVID-19, we have some limited opportunities, and we are not taking a lot of volunteers into the organization. When life is normal and things are well and everyone is healthy, we certainly do have some opportunities. If folks are to volunteer in our organization, they do have required clearances because we do come in contact with children through our early childhood education program. So there are requirements for clearances, and all that information can be found on our website at yorkcpc.org.
Sounds great. Thank you, Louisa. Sue, anything further you want to add? Or?
No, I just thank you for the privilege to be able to share about what we do at New Hope. I'm unmuted.
No, we can hear you.
Oh, can you? Okay.
Yeah.
I said, I just thank you for the privilege that we can share a little bit of what we do at New Hope. And again, get onto our website. It tells a whole lot more than what I have shared tonight. And if you know anybody in need, please send them our way. We'd love the privilege to be able to serve them and help maybe change their lives towards stability.
That's great. That's great. Rosemary.
Yes, real quick, we have a question on the website. Somebody's asking how to turn on the closed caption. So to turn on the closed caption on the Facebook Live, you will want to hover down at the lower bar where the speaker icon is. You will see a square that says CC. If you click CC, it gives you the option to turn on live captions. you'll want to click that and it will auto-generate live captions for those that are joining us via Facebook.
Okay, great, great. Myrna, I
Hello.
believe we need to take a look at another organization that really has its roots in Hanover, and that is Council of Churches. And I understand you've recently served as the interim director. What can you tell us about Council of Churches and its services?
I'm sorry, Lisa, I really didn't hear a lot what you said, but I'm assuming you want me to talk about the program, and I'm more than happy to do so. First of all, thank you so much for having me tonight. I'm the executive director of the Hanover Area Council of Churches, and the Hanover Area Council of Churches is a nonprofit organization which is considered to be a faith-based organization, which is considered to be a Christian based. And under the Hanover Area Council of Churches that started in 1968, there's five particular I would say main, I don't want to say important because all of our ministries are very important, but there's five main programs that usually we provide in our community for those who are in very low income. And one of them that is our Changing Lives Shelter. A lot of people have no idea that we have a homeless shelter in Hanover. We're very secretly caved into an area. So that is something I'm going to be doing in the next couple of months. Introducing the shelter to a lot of our community members because there is a lot of great need in Hanover. So the Changing Lives Shelter, we can serve up to, or we can actually house up to 36 individuals. 12 can be men, 12 are women, and the rest, and there's 2 rooms that are strictly for family members. And what our purpose for this facility is, and it's interesting how Sue from New Hope was saying that you call your client's guest. We have started a system where we call them our family members. So every time we see each other, we say there's a new family member coming into our family. So that's something that we also traditionally are starting to do. But in this facility, one of our main issues is to make sure that we want to be successful for people who are homeless. We want to make sure they have a productive transition where they can come out from the situation that they're in right now and become very independently. We served, I would say 90% what they call chronic homeless population. And basically what the chronic homeless population is individuals that have lived a lifestyle in the homeless environment for years. It could be due because of drug and alcohol use, or simply they were brought up that way and they don't know how to get out of that. So with that population, we're constantly meeting with other resources that could provide counseling services for them. While they're doing that, what we do, we provide life skills education, and we also have a case manager that works with them on their financial needs, and they teach them how to save money to get out of that environment. We have several success stories, and we're excited about that. We would like our success story to be a higher percentage, but we're working towards that. Now, we have others that are not considered to be they're just homeless simply because they might have lost their jobs, or perhaps they're getting a divorce and they've been thrown out of the house. Those are people that are in and out of our homeless shelter, which is in there very quickly, and we just help them in with anything that we can. So that is one of our biggest projects in Hanover. The other projects that we also have Ruth Harvest. Ruth Harvest is actually a program that it has started about, I would say, 10 to 12 years ago, and it's from the Ruth Bible story. And basically what we do with that, we have volunteers that come in on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and they get together these book bags and they fill them with food so the kids can take them home on the weekends, because we are assuming that Monday through Friday during the schools, they are provided with breakfast, they are provided with lunch, and we hope that dinner is also provided. But during the weekend, we don't know if that happens. So what does Ruth Harvest do is pack these bags and send them home with the kids. So to make sure that they have something to eat during the weekend. We also have provide a lunch And provider lunch is actually Monday through Sundays, every single day from 11:30 to 12:30. And what we do is a grab-to-go lunch and dinner that we provide for the community. It is for anybody. It can be anybody who wants to come in. We don't discriminate who you are. If you feel that you're in need of a lunch Sunday or Monday, Tuesday, we are there for you. So we also provide them what they call for seconds if they want to take a second meal. So we want to make sure they have a meal for the evening. We also provide that. We allow them to look around other items so they can take home, such as milk. So we also have that little area as well. We are not, because of COVID, we're not allowing people to stay within the building. So we're just basically packing everything for them to take with them. And provider lunch basically is cooked daily by different churches around our area. So we have teams of each church. So we have about 34 churches that come in, and they just volunteer to do that for us. So it's been a very successful program. We also have Meals on Wheels. Meals on Wheels is basically for our seniors in Hanover and our disabled individuals. So in order for people to be eligible for Meals on Wheels, we have to have a doctor's excuse stating the reason why they can't leave their home, why they can't cook. So what we do between the hours of 10:30 and 12, we provide Monday through Friday meals. We deliver meals to these people's homes. And we have about 38 people at this moment that we serve, and we provide those meals too. And one final thing that we have is the clothing bank. Our clothing bank basically is at no charge for anyone. There's some certain items that we do ask that are purchased, but other than that, everything is basically given out to our community for those who are in great need of clothing, any home items, and if they need new items that they can't buy, we will go and purchase that for them as well. Addition to that, we also have gas cards for individuals that can't get to work, or they don't have the money to get to a new job or an interview. And we also have gas cards for medical purposes. We have vouchers for anybody who might be in need of getting a prescription and their insurance doesn't cover it. And once in a while, we don't have a program for rental assistance. However, if there is somebody who is in high need of rental assistance, we will look at the situation. We will look at our budget and see how much we can afford to be able to help those individuals.
That's great.
Mhm.
Oh, I don't know if you can hear me, Myrna, but
hear
how full is the homeless shelter on average?
On average, I would have to say, especially around this area during the cold weather, right now we're doing a 50-50 service. So we're not taking everybody, we're not taking all 36. So we can take up to 12 people in capacity right now, 12 to 16. So in average, we have about 12 to 13 individuals on a daily basis that are there with us. And that includes family members as well.
Okay. And the reason you're taking fewer is because of COVID, I would assume?
Correct, yes.
Yeah.
We have regulations, and in order for them to come into our program, to be part of our family, one of the things that we do is we do test them to make sure everything is clear. But yes, due to COVID, unfortunately, we are at 50% capacity at this point.
Yeah, okay. Rosemary, any questions from folks?
We have a few questions here. Judy Schaefer says poverty is misunderstood. Many folks believe it is because those suffering from poverty are lazy. How can our community organizations come together to dispel this myth and educate them?
Absolutely, I agree with Jody on that. Definitely not, it's not lazy. So a lot of our poverty level that we have in our country, it's based on the lack of and if you, I don't know if, I'm not sure if she's talking more of the homeless population of poverty level, but the homeless, as far as the poverty level, there is a huge percentage just in Hanover alone, there is basically a 12% of poverty level. And out of that 12%, 8% ends up in the homeless environment population. But yes, it isn't because of the laziness, it's because there's so many issues. One of them could be mental illness. A lack of job opportunities. But no, not at all. I have to say it's the most hardworking individuals that we have ever worked with.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would echo that 100%. You know, poverty is not the result of laziness, and it is absolutely a misnomer. But there's so many different factors that lead to poverty. The wages in this country are not livable wages. I know that's a lot of the information that's out there. Is just one example. Earlier, I touched on intersectionality of issues. So an undocumented individual, for example, might not have the same opportunities as someone else. Additional barriers that a family member might have if it's a single mother and they have to care for their children and they don't have someone else in their network to support them in raising the family, and they have to leave work and then they lose that job. So there's a lot of different layers to it. Something that we also do as part of our programming is offer a course is a loose word for it. We call it more of a conversation. It's investigation into poverty for folks, so that they can see. It's called Getting Ahead in a Just Getting By world, and individuals can examine their own life in poverty, things that have led them to the place that they are, things that historically, as a country, have led us to this place of poverty. They examine policies. They think about the way that our systems are set up to create structures by which we do have a poverty class, a middle class, upper class, et cetera, and really identify different ways that poverty is affecting them in their lives. And something we also say in those courses is poverty isn't always about money. It is absolutely the thing that is the hardest, but there's also a lack of resources, right? There's a lack of support. If I'm new to this country and my English is limited and I don't have a network of people around me and my car breaks down, who's going to support me, right? And I think many of us are privileged to say, you know, we have this family member or a really close friend, but that's also a part of poverty. So we have folks kind of examine where their lives are and think about where they want their lives to go in the future, and really think about the personal level, the institutional level, and the outside factors that factor into poverty. So it's really a multifaceted issue.
Sorry, Lisa, we couldn't hear you.
Let me try again. Sue, did you have anything to add to that?
I think I've said more times than not when I've been in a class or teaching or working with a guest is life happened. And it could be many factors, which I think Louisa just shared several of them, or Myrna's shared several things. Many times this was not something when life happens to them, like you mentioned, the car breaking down, or virtual school, when the kids have to stay home and they, what do the kids are home, what do parents do? If it's one person working in that family, what does that parent do? And so those are the things that I know were all new for us as we're dealing with, but those are realities. That's life happened. And so that's when we as a team, I think everybody that's here is agreeing, we work together and we each of us take a piece and figure out how can we help that family gain stability. So
is there a lot of
I'm sorry, Lisa, you're muted.
okay, we're going to try this again. This is what happens when you update your system, you know? So, is there a lot of interaction between the agencies? Do you all work together? Louisa, you're saying yes.
Yes, absolutely. You know, it takes a village, as they say, right?
yes, it does.
And there are resources that are available to folks in a variety of different agencies. So a really important part of the work that we do is making sure that folks can get access to those resources. Right. Community Progress Council does not have everything, but we really try to partner with agencies to support all the needs of our clients. And our resource navigators are really great people to connect with because they are making those connections throughout the county. So today we're talking specifically about Hanover, and our resource navigators are going to understand that pocket of Hanover and who's available there and who does what. But if someone is calling from Delta, they're going to understand those resources available in Delta. So it's really important to connect and to work together collaboratively because at the end of the day, the mission that we're all trying to do is create a better community.
Yeah, we definitely work in conjunction a lot with New Hope and CPC. We have actually a representative from CPC that works directly with us. And in order for us to be able to transition our clients to a more steady home setup, CPC has been one of our most contact that has allowed us to provide them with rental assistance so they can move on with their life. And with New Hope, we're constantly doing referrals. New Hope has amazing, like Sue mentioned, all these training opportunities. So most of our clients are referred to their organizations and agencies to make sure they provide those trainings to them. For example, we have people that go in there for GED services. So we definitely are in collaboration for sure.
That's great. That's great. One other question I had, if you can hear me, is what do each of your agencies need? What would be on your wish list for the rest of the community to provide for you to better enable you to do the wonderful things that you do? Sue, I saw a little smile. You want to speak?
We count on the communities that we serve to help us make a difference in the lives of the guests we serve. So volunteer for us, always financial. I mean, that's always a given. I think as a nonprofit, we're all like this, yes. And resources and referrals, because helping us connect with other folks that can help make a difference in the lives of the folks that we serve, that's always good too, because whenever we can make connections, whether it's with an employer or with its, whether it's another agency, we love that privilege to be able to collaborate together to help change lives.
And I didn't get an opportunity to speak earlier about volunteer work. I know that they both Sue and Luisa mentioned about volunteers, but we're definitely in need of volunteers all the time. And I agree with Sue. Financial support is always the number one. We are not state or federal supported at all, because we're considered a faith-based organization. However, we are private funded. And what that means, we depend on the community. We depend on you as a community member to support this mission. So basically funding, and also definitely volunteers. We are in great need of volunteers.
Yeah.
I'm going to echo funding. Community Progress Council is privileged to offer programs that are government funded, like WIC and Early Head Start and Head Start. However, our program really relies on the private funds to provide unrestricted dollars to really let us be creative in supporting our clients. So that example I gave you earlier of that mother who loses the childcare subsidy and she needs that $50 extra a week. We need support. We need unrestricted money to bridge that gap. I'm going to give a little shout out for Give Local York that's coming up in May, because your donation goes a longer way if you donate on that day. The other thing I would commend folks watching this is to help spread the word. I think that there's a misnomer that Community Progress Council is a city organization, and we are very much present in Hanover. So please, if you are in need of our resources, if you know someone in need of our resources in Hanover, in Delta, anywhere in York County, Community Progress Council is here to serve the entire county.
Absolutely.
And we send many a guest upstairs to CPC. We're in the same building.
We appreciate that
and we can
partnership
refer.
for sure.
It is awesome. And obviously Myrna, we can call her to see if there's ever any openings for folks that come through our doors. So we count it a privilege to be part of this awesome team.
We have one more question here. To receive help from any of these organizations, does a guest need to provide proof of their situation? And are there any mental health services provided?
Well, I can start very quickly. Oh, go ahead.
I'm so sorry. No, I was just going to say, for us, if it's a financial assist, they would have to bring in, if it's a utility bill or if it's a rent assist, they would need to bring in documentation so that we could move further with that, whether it be call the landlord to advocate on their behalf or call a utility company on their behalf. So for us, that's what would be a requirement, just so we could take care of that need. If it was joining any of our workforce programs, that's where they would meet with an intake person or a caseworker and do what was necessary for that.
Lorna?
As far as our homeless shelter, we don't provide any form of proof at all. Obviously, I mean, if people are homeless, it's very obvious, and there's nothing that we really do as far as that. Now, if we do need to assist somebody with some sort of a rental assistance, we do provide, we ask for pay stubs to see where they're at with issues. We do contact medical offices and employments to make sure that they are in need of a gas card or anything that they might need for work. So we just we would just verify to make sure that that's all what that they're actually are in need of. Sorry.
Our programs have a variety of qualifications, so it really depends on the program that the individual is interested in. That's why it's really important for folks to go in through our centralized intake process. From there, we would understand where their income falls and what programs they would be eligible for. As far as mental health support, again, our resource navigators are incredible human beings. They are beacons of light in our organization with lots of knowledge, and we have some great partners who can support some mental health needs, and so those referrals would be made for them.
All right. Either Myrna or Sue, any comments on part of that question?
For us, it would be a referral that we would do as well.
Okay.
I'm sorry, what was the question?
The question was that Rosemary received. The individual also asked about mental health services.
Oh, yes, we are in connection with True North, and that's how we refer them. So we do referrals.
Okay.
I will, if I could just mention one thing regarding mental health, specifically in our Head Start and Early Head Start programs, we do have a mental health consultant to support the mental health needs of children and families who might be experiencing trauma. So that person, that individual is connected directly to the family. The family coach can support some ongoing issues or needs, but there is a little bit of a focus on that area in early childhood education, because we know that children can't learn if they're experiencing other things.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. Any final thoughts, any of you, before we close this up? I am so encouraged by what we've heard tonight. Like I said earlier on, I was quite surprised at the statistics for folks in financial need and having other social issues that affect their life. When I first looked them up for the Hanover area, I was flabbergasted. But after hearing from the three of you, I'm very encouraged that we are, as a community, doing the best we can at this point. There's always more that we can do. It looks like the three agencies together are doing a phenomenal job. And my hat's off to all three of you and your volunteers for what you're doing for your clients, guests, your family. Anybody else have any final thoughts?
If anybody in the Hanover area is in need of anything that we might have shared tonight, please don't hesitate to have someone reach out, call us at our Hanover location, 717-698-3365. And we'll see what we can do. If we can't, we know there's two other awesome agencies that are here tonight that we can refer, and we'll get support and we'll be able to work together. So thank you.
And with the Hanover Area Council of Churches, you can reach us at 717-633-6353. And also you are more than welcome to contact my cell phone, which is 717-688-4200. And if you know any families who are in great need out there, remember it's very cold right now. We will be more than happy to also take them overnight if they need to.
Okay. All right. Well, I have a few YW announcements to cover before we ask Rosemary to turn on the slideshow that tries to encapsulate a little bit of what all three of you offer. So let me share those with you first. Thursday, January 20th, which is tomorrow, obviously, at 7 o'clock at the YW, will be a program presented on Switch. this is being done in honor of International Holocaust Remembrance Day.
Lisa, I'm sorry, your microphone is cutting out again.
Is it cutting out again? How's that?
It is. Yes,
Okay.
that's better. Mhm.
Okay, all right. So the International Holocaust Remembrance Day is next week, January 27th. But the YW is presenting a program tomorrow evening at the YW, and you're asked to pre-register so that they know how many people. You can go to the YW website. Upstanders Youth Council. Let me see if we can get this back. There it is. The Upstanders Youth Council will meet on Sunday, January 29th. The second meeting for our current book club, adult book club, is January 25th, and we are reading Addicted, which really plays into tonight's conversation because it's all about home. CASA will be presenting
I'm sorry, Lisa. Again,
again.
yeah,
Okay.
we're having a difficult time with the microphone. Any of the upcoming events or initiatives or programs that the YWCA will be hosting will be on our Facebook page or on our website at www.ywcahanover.org. We do
Right.
have quite a full calendar coming up. The calendar is available for viewing on our YWCA Hanover website. And like Lisa said, we have some really interesting things.
Just
prepared.
fascinating programs coming up. Our next Enlightened conversation will be Thursday, February 17th, and we'll be hosting a representative from the Jesse Owens Museum. So that should be rather interesting as well. So Rosemary, are we ready to turn to the slideshow?
We are going to try and present this slideshow. Let's see
Okay.
here.
Before you do, my thanks to all three of you for your time. I apologize for the audio portion, but hopefully we'll get that corrected before the next time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
I don't think that the screen share is translating to Facebook. So we will post the resources and the information for each of the organizations that were here this evening, phone numbers, website, and a brief synopsis will be available. We'll post it to our Facebook page and hopefully have that up on our website in a few days.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rosemary.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for joining us.
Thank
Good
you.
night.
Good
Good
night.
night.